search engine optimization. Thank you for making the time to join us today, and we trust it will be a fruitful session. Please feel free to key in your questions in a Q&A during the session, and we will address them at the end of our main presentation. And we will also be sharing these slides to you after the session. So I'm Sarah from MVPC's digital marketing team, and we have the entire team on the panel today with Zin as our key speaker. The digital marketing team is here to help answer your questions, and we have Alfred, our digital marketing lead, May, who is responsible for MVPC's online and offline content. And right now, let us welcome Zin as she shares insight on increasing your web visibility through SEO. Over to you, Zin.
Thank you everyone for taking time out to actually come to our webinar, How to Increase Your Website Visibility Through SEO. So my name is Zin and I'm the search specialist in MVPC. So for today's webinar agenda, firstly, we'll go through the introduction of SEO. What exactly are SEO goals and how it actually works? What is the importance of creating impactful content? And how to actually generate topics instead of keywords, how to optimize your content, as well as setting up your Google My Business account, what free tools are available out there to get you started on search engine optimization, and what can you do to track your SEO performance. We will end the webinar with a Q&A session. So to kickstart this webinar, are we asking, are you currently creating search engine optimization for your website? Please answer the poll. We'll give about 5 seconds before we end the poll. So do enter your results. Okay, we'd like to share the results. We can see that most of you guys don't actually implement search engine optimization. It's all right. I mean, today's webinar session will be going through how to actually implement it, as well as know more about SEO if you currently do not know much about it. So we start the webinar with what is search engine optimization. Search engine optimization is the practice of both increasing the quality as well as the quantity of web traffic through non-paid, or how we marketers like to call it, organic search results. So to implement this, you firstly have to understand what people are searching online, what answers they seek, and what type of content they wish to consume. And do know that SEO is not a one-time activity. It's not something that just implement when you create your website, but it is an ongoing activity because Google algorithm always change, as well as your competitors. They are always improving their search engine optimization capabilities. And as a user, you have to improve on it. So for next activity, how about, can we have a guess? Which channel do you think typically drives the most visitor to a website? Please enter. I'll give you guys about 5 seconds to fill in the poll. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wow, most of you guys entered social media. Actually, the answer is organic search. So from this source of traffic, it's actually not surprising to know that 51% of the total source of traffic actually comes from organic search. Because imagine if you want to look for something, you immediately think of, oh, let's go to Google it. So this is also the main channel in which user actually enters to your website. It's actually organic search instead of the typical answer, social media. Social media only constitute about 5% of the total source of traffic coming into your website. So SEO is important. Like, why exactly is SEO important? It's actually sustainable as long as you target a topic with organic search traffic potential. What I mean is that it pays dividend over time. If you provide a solid piece of content that deserves to be ranked for the right keywords, your traffic will snowball over time. Comparing to advertising like paid search, just for example, say Advertising need your continuous funding. So as long as you stop funding, you stop paying for ads, the traffic will just stop and drop. So SEO is important because the higher number of traffic, the higher number of web traffic coming to your website, it also directly results in higher donations. So next I'll be talking about is search engine optimization goals. So these are actually like the 4 goals in which these are the 4 goals. Firstly is to rank on Google search result page. So by doing so, you have to develop valuable content and get indexed by the search engine. Next will be clicks on result. What I mean by that is that you have to optimize your page attributes such as your title, description, so people actually click into your website and visit your content. Thirdly, will be staying on the page or if they visit multiple pages. What I mean by that is by creating high value content, so you just stay on your page for longer when they consume your content. And lastly is getting links from external sites. What I mean by that is that Google deemed if your website is being linked by a highly authoritative website, such as like BBC or like CNA, it acts as an endorsement and actually increases your link authority, making it more desirable for Google. So to explain how Google algorithm work is deeply complex because they have 2,000 plus rankings. So to make it easier for you guys, right? Google has already confirmed the top 3 ranking factors, which is content, link authority, and website performance. So in this webinar, we'll be focusing on content and link authority. So next will be content. How can you actually create impactful content? Because it is one way you can do it is actually to create different content, or I would say even better content. Firstly, you need to identify what are the gaps in which your competitor is creating and create content that stands out. Just for example, if your competitor talk about a certain topic, but they didn't emphasize a lot about a specific section, what you can do is actually to write more content about that specific section to fill in the gaps, as well as find out what's out there relating to your MPO niche and what can you publish. The next is actually to create a main hook to encourage users to donate. What I mean by that is to actually create a strong messaging, because the user's attention is getting shorter and shorter. So how can you bring the message of your impact that you bring, and why should these users be invested in your cause and why they should donate? So these questions all have to be answered before the users go down the marketing funnel. Next, I'll be talking about its topic cluster and why it is critical to your SEO strategy. So to many of you guys, you probably don't know what exactly is a topic cluster. So a topic cluster is actually a way in which you actually sort your different content into pillar contents. So what I mean by that is that Google has actually changed their preference to favor topic against keywords, because with the enhancement of search, such as like voice search or like 1,001 ways in which a user can enter their search engine to find information, Google will want to serve the best answers to these users. And by organizing your content into topic cluster, it actually makes it easier for the Google to actually crawl your website and find the relevant information and serve to the users. So here's the definition. A pillar content covers all aspects of the topic in a single page, with room for more in-depth reporting in detailed content clusters that actually hyperlink back to the pillar content. So by saying so, the pillar content will broadly cover a particular topic, and the cluster content will address the specific keywords relating to that topic in depth. So by organizing your content this way, it not only makes it easier for the Google Spider to crawl your website, it also really makes it easier for users to consume your content, as well as to visit multiple different pages. So here's an example. Just for example's sake, you create a pillar content about autism. It relates to your course. So in the middle, you create like a 3,000 long article that talks about like Autism 101. Then in each specific sections, you might want to expand further, such as providing information to users on various questions they might face while reading the article, such as will autism improve? Is it genetic? What are the common myths? Is it related to ADHD? Or how is it diagnosed? Like all of these questions can be answered further within your pillar content, which is autism. So after understanding how topic clusters actually work, now the next section is we want to understand what is a search intent. So a search intent is a state of mind in which a user enter your page. They might there's 3 stages of search intent. Firstly, informational. They are looking to learn more about specific topic. They don't exactly know what they want. So keywords that they usually include is how to in nature, such as like guides, tutorials, questions like what, how, or lists like top and what's like checklist. Next, they already kind of know what they want. So they want to shortlist they want to shortlist what they want. So they are really looking for specific websites. So their search query might be like name of charity organization or your services. And lastly, it will be transactional. They already decided that they want to make a donation. They want to make a call to action. So a typical kind of search query will be donate to, then charity organization. So after understanding what is the search intent of a user, next we gotta optimize. We gotta know how to optimize and format your website content. So Google will be able to understand what you're talking about. Firstly, we start with meta title. Meta title is very important because it is the first thing that users see when they see your search result. Remember to place your keywords towards the front. Write a unique title. What I mean by that is that each meta title has to be different. If not, Google would input what they deem as a relevant meta title. Remember to state your value proposition. You only have 15 to 40 characters, so make each character worth that click. And remember to create an engaging sales pitch. Although meta title is not directly impacting the search ranking, the click-through rate into your website is one of the main ranking factors. Next, I'll be talking about is the meta description. So a meta description actually gives a sensing to your audience on what they expect to go when they go to a website. It has to be unique because if it's not unique, Google will penalize you and your visibility will drop. So do place your keywords near the beginning of the description and try to use it as natural as possible. Because if you don't do it naturally, it will be deemed as keyword stuffing, which I'll be explaining further on in the webinar. You only have 150 to 300 characters, so please use them wisely and do not go overshot the 300 limit, else your description will be truncated. And yeah, another tip is that you can include information such as what's your causes, and it need not be like in full sentences. So after creating your meta title, meta description, the next point is URL. Do keep it short, simple, relevant, and concise because it plays a part in the ranking factors, and keeping it simple makes it easy for the Google Spider to actually know what this, it gives a hint to the user or to the Google Spider on what kind of content that you're creating. Do add keywords and write it in lower case and use hyphen to split up the words. Next will be heading 1. So heading 1, heading 2, heading 3 are actually like titles to actually separate your whole article. Do create a unique heading 1, and you may even include like questions such as like how, what, why as hooks. So users are more likely to click into your article and read more. And you might even want to include numbers such as statistics, because statistics is very interesting and then it keeps people interested to read on. And do describe what is discussed in the body text. So why do you need to use heading 2 and heading 3? is to actually create a well-structured article. Because while you're creating articles, right, by creating effective headings, you actually allow the user to skim through your content, and from there, they will identify whether they will read further or they will not. So it actually helps the user as well. And it actually makes it easier for user to understand the context of your whole message. Remember to only share one key ideas in one paragraph, else it will be too complicated, and do divide content into logical and digestible segments. And if possible, include bullet and number listing, because by concising the information, it actually increases the chance of you being featured in the featured snippet in the Google search. Next will be image. So there's always a common saying that picture is worth 1,000 words. So by including effective images, be it like infographic, video, or pictures, it will actually increase the time spent on your website, which is one of the ranking factors. And do you know that 3% of the total clicks is actually generated through the image block? So people actually do search by image. So do remember to optimize your image. So one way you can do it is that to include a descriptive alt text. So you can do it on the back end, and what you actually essentially mean is that you describe what the image is about. So by doing so, it actually helps the Google Spider again to identify what kind of content you're putting out there, because they can't see images. And another way is that it actually helps those with disability that's not able to see what image. It actually provides them a hint on what they're supposed to see. And do make sure that it has a readable name, and reduce the file size to 1 MB. And for images, just a tip, save and export it as JPEG. Next, for the body text, the ideal blog post length should be about 2,100 to 2,400 words. And do ensure that your content is original and avoid plagiarism. If you copy it wholesale, Google will actually identify your content as something that's copied, and then it will affect your visibility as well. So another type of content you can create is by doing storytelling. Storytelling actually sets you apart, because let's be honest, humans all love a good story. Do highlight the impact you bring, and what would you like to influence your reader, and provide a strong messaging on why they should donate to your cause as compared to another. And if your content is too long, do include a table of content. So adding a table of content, it lets your visitor go to a specific section that they want or desire easily. And it also helps with interlinking. So by interlinking your whole content, it actually creates like the topic cluster, which I mentioned earlier. And it also helps Google to better understand your page content. Lastly, to end the portion of formatting your content is to provide read further. It provides an opportunity to link to related articles and do interlinking, which help the search engine, and you also form your topic cluster. So here is one tool in which MVPC use. We are currently hosted on WordPress itself, so we use Yoast plugin. So by downloading Yoast plugin, you're able to actually make edits to your meta title, meta description, URL, and even edit the pictures. So yeah, here is one way in which you can do so. So the next section of our webinar is to go more deeply on Google My Business. So here we have a poll. Have you guys actually claimed and verified your Google My Business account? Please enter in the polls. We'll be stopping the polls in 5 seconds. Okay, stop. Wow, you see 81% of you guys don't actually claim your Google My Business account. Maybe it's something new, or like we might explore further. So for those who have not claimed your Google My Business account or do need additional help in doing so, Do let us know at the end of the webinar where we will be sharing a survey. You can indicate it inside the survey that you need help. So from there, if the demand is high enough, we might create another small class to actually go through step by step on how to actually do it. So Google My Business is very important because especially if your NPOs require people to go down to your center to do something. Because 50% of those people who did a local search on that day actually went down on the same day. And Google no longer just display lines of listing, it actually shows dynamic results. So on the right hand side, the image, you can see I did a search on RDA Center, which is one of our NPOs in giving.sg. You can see on the right their listing, their business listing. So how to actually claim your Google My Business is that you can see on the right hand side, the RDA Center, they actually haven't claimed their business. So what they have to do is actually to select own this business and follow through the processes. I've put down the link. So if you guys are more interested in that, you can actually visit the link and check it out yourself. So by doing so, right, like what are the pros of actually verifying your listing is you actually gain full control of the information that's being put out there. And you might even gain additional features such as responding to reviews, putting out questions and answers, as well as doing direct booking or even messaging. So how to actually optimize your Google My Business listing? So it's something similar to search engine optimization where you have to maximize the benefit of putting a listing out there. It's by firstly filling up all the information required by Google. Firstly, your business name, do not keyword stuff and just use your business name. So like for the example on the right hand side, you can see the red color box. You can see this jeweler adding the name of the jewelry place with like wedding bands, custom jewelry, and the city itself. Like all of these texts are like non-relevant because below you can actually see like the category. It really categorizes the information already. So please do not keyword stuff. Select the right category based on your nonprofit niche. The category selection is very important because it actually has a direct impact on your ranking factors, and it also has certain features. So like certain categories gain certain features, and include your address and phone number so people can go down to your location or probably make a phone call. And do include your operation hours. And if it's by appointment basis, please include that too. Another great tip, right, to optimize your Google My Business listing is actually by creating a short name. So this short name actually makes your business listing easier to find and share. So by doing so, you can just create your short name and then you can get the reviews rolling in. So these reviews, this short name is actually used in your the Google Maps itself. And then it's only limited to 32 characters. And we recommend by going the branded route or align with your existing social media handles. As for your Google My Business description, do not keyword stuff. And don't use all caps because using all caps is like shouting to your users, which we do not want to do so. Do not use link in your copy because it does not directly link out. And descriptions does not actually has an impact on your ranking and it's not factored into your ranking algorithm, but it's deeply important because it is the click-through rate that is the ranking factor, like explained in the meta description. For the Google My Business listing, you only have 750 characters. So it gives you a chance to provide a gist or like a short summary of what is your course about and what do you offer. So I've been talking about keyword stuffing, not to do it. So what exactly is keyword stuffing? It's actually loading a web page with keywords or numbers in an attempt to manipulate the search engine. So an example of keyword stuffing is donate. Like you read the text below, like your donations are donated to the youth at risk. Are you looking to donate your money? If you're looking for a place to donate, look no further. Our donation website is the best place to donate. So you see how many times the word donation appears and how much it's a turn off to read read that whole chunk of paragraph. As a user itself, it's a turn off, and Google actually identifies this as something that's not desirable. So if you do that, it will affect your visibility to Google. So on the last point on further optimizing your Google My Business would be actually to add photos, because adding photos creates a sense of credibility to your business, and as well as the number of positive reviews. So a great tip is to actually try to incorporate keywords into your positive reviews if possible. Google actually see the number of responses to the reviews, be it good or bad. Make sure that you reply to each review. The proximity to the searcher to your location is also deeply important, because if the user is nearer to your location, then your listing will appear higher. And the click-through rates from search result. What I mean by that is that generally, if you're doing well in search engine optimization, you'll do well in local search as well. Next, I'll be talking about search engine optimization tools and what tools that's available out there which you can get started and get to work. Firstly, it's Google Trends. This is a free tool that provides data graphs on the popularity of a specific search term used on Google search and YouTube. So this tool, you can actually compare the popularity of a certain keyword and then see which term is more popular, and then what are the patterns of these specific keywords. So for example, if I search autism, I see a spike in end of June, early July. It will probably mean that during that period, there is like a certain festival or a certain event that's relating to this autism that you want to be part of. So by creating content around the peaks of this Google search, it will actually get more eyeballs onto your content, since that period of time people are more likely or more interested in a specific topic itself. So by other than knowing like what are the patterns, it also let you know what are the related keywords that are trending and what are the related queries to actually find even more keyword ideas to expand your topic cluster. So you can see on the left-hand side, it's related topics. So then it talks about the various topics relating to the root keyword, which I put above was autism. And on the right-hand side is related queries, which you can start using to build your SEO strategy. So the next tool that I would like to recommend you guys is actually called Answer the Public. It's actually a free tool which visualize questions and phrase asked around a particular root keyword. Like for example, I enter the keyword autism, it actually divides into like why, will, who, which, where, how. These are actually questions in which users actually type in Google and they are actually interested to know more about. So extracting all this information to form your topic cluster and to form your strategy is deeply important. I've left the link, so after you guys can actually visit this website and see how it actually how to actually use it and if it's useful for your SEO strategy. Other than segregating by questions, it actually goes down to prepositions and even alphabetical order. So you can just export all this relevant information and to start mapping out your strategy. Another free tool in which is underutilized is called Google People Also Ask. So for example, you enter a search term on Google itself, it actually returns you with this box which says People Also Ask. It is a list of like popular queries relating to what you actually type, or like related queries. So the more entries you enter, the longer the list will become. So you can actually extract all this information to actually form your topic cluster and eventually your strategy. So another great tip about Google search, right? They actually let you do something, I would say, it's called search operator. So this tool is actually great if you want to understand what your competitor is creating and identify the gaps. So by utilizing this search operator to perform research for your content piece. So, and for example's sake, I want to look for an article about autism that includes the phrase charities to donate. It actually forces Google to show the results where the phrase matches exactly. Another great tip is actually to use Google search for your interlinking opportunities. So by using this like site, then you put your domain name.com, then you put in text with your keyword, which my keyword is autism. What it actually does is that Google will comb through your whole website to find any content relating to this term, which I put is called autism. It will actually help you with doing your interlinking, which will hyperlink your cluster content to your pillar content. So now I talk about, okay, the strategies, what tools you're going to use. And then, so right now, the most important question is how to actually track your SEO performance. So guys, I have a poll for you. Do you currently use Google Analytics for your reporting? We have 5 seconds to enter. Okay, please stop the poll. Please share the results. Wow, actually, 58% of you guys don't actually use Google Analytics for your reporting. Actually, Google Analytics is a great and awesome free tool that's available by Google to actually analyze like your website traffic, and it provides you with a lot of insights to know exactly what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. So in the following slides, I'll be explaining briefly about Google Analytics. So do key in the chat. How often do you actually check your Google Analytics result for those people that actually use Google Analytics to do your reporting? Well, you guys, mostly monthly. What I'm seeing now is mostly monthly. 3? What do you mean by 3? 3 weeks? Every 3 weeks? Weekly? Ooh. Okay, actually for MVPC, we do it monthly too because we like to track what performance or like what tasks we did for the month and see if there's any improvements. So thank you for participating. Okay, firstly, tracking your SEO performance. So how do you actually measure your organic traffic? So you implemented some search engine optimization strategies that I mentioned earlier. So how do you know if your content is doing well, or like how much traffic is actually coming in from your organic search? What you can do is after you log into Google Analytics itself, on the left-hand side menu, you can see acquisition. And then under acquisition, there's traffics and then channels. After you enter channels, it will show all your channels that's grouped. So what you can do is you select organic search, and then it will show the growth of your website users over time, over a year. And then you can actually, above, you can actually edit like if you want to compare to the previous month or you want to compare to the previous year. So from there, you're able to track your growth of traffic coming in from your organic search. So here's an example. This image is just for illustration purpose and it's not exactly our backend. And if you guys want to learn, want to like explore Google Analytics on your own first, I've provided a link for you guys to actually explore during your own free time. So other than Google Analytics, another not well-known tool that Google actually provides is something called Google Search Console. So this tool, it's like awesome because it provides you the exact question in which you're looking for. Like you want to find what is your average position. So in the sea of answers, like which position your website is, how much impression your website is getting, and how much clicks are you getting from various keywords. So it actually segregates down into what keywords your website is actually targeting, and how many clicks are you getting for those keywords that they type into the search engine that ends up to your website. So below is an example of over time, how many people actually click, how much impression, how much is your click-through rate, and what is your average position on Google search results. So as shown below, this image is for illustration purpose only, and you can actually learn more on how to activate your Google Search Console in this link, which I'll be sharing at the end of the slides. So today's session is, so now we come to the end of the webinar. The key takeaways for this section will be mostly topic cluster and how to actually implement it, how to actually optimize your website content, how to set up your Google My Business account, and do let us know if you need any help by filling up the survey form at the end of the webinar. What are the SEO tools available for you to use, and how to actually track the performance of your search engine optimization. Before I end the webinar, I just wanted to share that Google actually has this non-profit Google Ad Grant. So what Google do is they actually provide 10,000 a month in in-kind advertising. So these are the steps in which you can actually apply for it. And then I've provided links on how to actually sign up and then to complete the eligibility form and activate your request as well. So I've been talking about search engine optimization and why it's important. Right now, we want to show that actually how we can actually support you. So if you need any guidance on how to claim your Google My Business listing, do reach out to us, or you can fill up the survey. And we can actually share your content onto our website with a larger audience base. So like mentioned earlier, link building is critical and it's one of the top 3 rankings in Google algorithm. So do submit your impactful story to us, and if it relates to our calendar, we will post it up and we'll link to your website, making it more desirable to Google itself. So now we come to the end of the session. Now is the Q&A section. Okay. So the first question is from Wei Tian. He asked, we can check our WordPress stats via Google Analytics. Yes, you can actually do so, just as long as you connect your website to Google Analytics. So how to actually do so? It's by actually doing this Google Pixel. So while setting up your Google Analytics account, there's actually an option inside Google Analytics to actually extract this pixel. What this pixel actually means is that it's like a short code that you put onto your website, and from there, like for example, someone visit, right? This code is actually triggered, and then the information is being passed through to Google Analytics itself. So I hope this answers your question, Wei Tian. So next question by Wei Tian again. To which email can we share the impact stories? So you can write into us at digitalmarketing@mvpc. Wait, let me write it down here. Yeah, you can just email to us, digitalmarketing@mvpc.org.sg. Okay, next question is, do we need a professional team to help manage this, or is a small in-house team enough? I mean, this question is a bit hard to answer because I do not directly know if your small team has the capability in doing so. But I'm sure right now in MVPC itself, we only have one search specialist, which is me. So right now, I'm helping out with making sure that the content, or like the content that we push out, is trending and people want to read more about it. So it's a bit hard to answer your question as it is a case-by-case basis. Thank you. Okay. So we have all answered your questions. Do you have any additional questions that you would like to ask about search engine optimization? Okay. So if there isn't, here's a survey form. Please share your feedback with us on this webinar and let us know how well we're doing. Here's a QR code. Do scan it because I'm sure a lot of you guys like do the safe entry, so you guys know how to actually QR code this and fill up the surveys. And here's the bit.ly link below if you're not able to QR code this. Oh, one more question.
Hi, Zin. Yeah, sorry. I think there are a few more.
Oh,
That
oops.
came
Okay. Okay, so we have one question from Joy Leong. How about assistance in creating meta title and meta description? Okay, so for meta title and meta description, right, it actually depends on what type of platform your website is on. So for WordPress itself, they provide a lot of plugins for you to actually edit this information for your articles itself. So it really dependent on what kind of platform you are using right now. So if you do need help, just raise it up in the survey form. And if we do get a high demand in this question, we'll definitely create another session in which we can provide assistance for this meta title and meta description. Okay, next, it's from Angie Cheng. Can I clarify if we send to digital marketing or digital content to submit our impact stories? Yeah, you're correct. Just send your impact stories to us, and if it matches with what content direction we're going for that month, we will feature your impact stories. Next question by Siti. Sorry, one more. Is Google Search Console under Google Analytics or is it a separate tool? Okay, just to clarify, right? Google Search Console is actually a separate tool from Google Analytics. So you can't actually go to Google Analytics and find this Google Search Console. So what you guys have to do is actually to visit the Google Search Console website, which is in the slides later. After this webinar, we'll share the slides with you guys. Just go in the URL, create an account, and then validate it under your Google Analytics account, and then you will be able to access the information. Yeah, but before doing so, you guys will have to connect. You guys will have to have the Google Analytics, which needs to have the pixel inside to connect the information coming in. So I hope I answered your question, Siti. Okay, next, Elena has a question. Roughly how long would a search engine take to reflect your website updates, SEO-wise? Okay, this is a very cool question because the tool just now I mentioned, Google Search Console, it actually allows you to tell Google that you have made changes to your website. And all you have to do is actually go to Google Search Console and tell Google that there's change in your website and ask to re-index your whole website again. Then from there, it's like a queuing system. So then when it's your turn, Google will actually know to crawl your whole website for changes, and then the changes is being reflected. So I hope I answered your question, Elena. Okay. Last question by Kia Kit. If I have further questions about SEO, can I ask MVPC? Yeah, sure. You can just, if you have any additional questions or additional pointers that were not discussed in the session, you can fill it up in the survey form, or you can email us directly, and I'll be there to help answer those questions for you. Okay. Okay, let's see what questions are left. Okay, I have one question from Debbie. How long do you track and monitor the statistics? So as mentioned in the Google Analytics slide, we actually do a monthly reporting. So we do a monthly reporting that compares the result of what we do. For example, in September, the things that you do in September will reflect in the results in October. Usually that's the case. So from there, we actually monitor the changes that we've done, what we're doing well, what we're doing not so well, and then adjust accordingly So then we learn on the go as well. So that's actually how we actually monitor our performance. So I hope I answered your question, Debbie. Next is by Denise. Do you recommend Google Ads for SSA? So it actually depends on your budget actually. So how much budget are you willing to put aside to invest in Google Ads? Because to compete in Google Ads, it might cost some money, and as mentioned earlier, when you stop paying, the traffic drop tremendously. So then there's a lot of questions that it's very hard to advise because there is very limited information provided. So if you guys are interested in Google Ads or search engine marketing in general, you can fill up the survey form, and if we have enough demand, we will open another class to answer or to go more in depth into that specific topic.
Hello, everyone. To address the particular issue, right, whether you do paid or to do search, you have to look at search, the conversion, the propensity for people to desire your charity is much more when they search. Because if they're searching for your brand name directly, right, it means that they want to engage with your charity or donate to your charity. So it's much better to be very good, to be more dependent on the search than on the paid ads. The paid ads, you get to advertise to people, the propensity for them to want to know about you or to know about you is going to be very low. So the conversion there will be very, very low. So for charities who are starting out or without much digital capabilities, we would suggest that you build up your SEO first. And once you're strong on the SEO, the SCM can come in, with at fairly minimal cost. Right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Alfred, for answering that question. Okay, next, this is the last question. Can SEO be linked to SOC map activities? Sorry, can you please elaborate on this question? Katim, yes. Oh, social media. Oh, okay, cool. So, okay, so this is actually a great, how do I say, a myth that actually by creating content and then sharing on a social media, it actually increases like the search engine optimization juice. It does not technically increase, or it does not have like a direct correlation, but the only thing that is relating is that by putting your information out to as many channels as possible, it actually increases the chance of your content being read, and then it goes down to the time spent on your content, as well as the ability of them moving across several pages throughout your website. So that portion, it actually affects the ranking factor, but to post on various social media and to get the comments from there, it does not directly relate to search engine optimization. So I hope I answered your question. Okay, so that's the end of our session. Do let us know if you have any other questions, or yeah, I hope this session is very fruitful to you and you guys learn a lot about search engine optimization. So thank you. Thank you, Angie. You guys remember to fill up the feedback form too, so that we can create further like other webinars, and as well as to know what are your needs. Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay.